What's up, everybody? Got a great show for you today. We are joined by former Chicago Bear, I should say, Robbie Gould. But before we get into it, though, you guys know we got to talk about our friends at Miller Lite. We are less than 2 weeks from the draft. I'm excited. I'm kind of sick of all the banter back and forth. I just want to know who we're picking, and I want to toast a Miller Lite to that player. So whether you're watching at a draft party or at your favorite bar or at home with some friends, the draft means more moments with the coolest people in your life. Make these moments even better with Miller Lite, the great tasting, less filling light beer for people who love beer. It's the original light beer since 1975, and it's still the best one. Miller Lite, great taste, 96 calories, and the official beer partner of the Chicago Bears. Go to MillerLite.com/stretch to find delivery options near you, or you can pick up some Miller Lite pretty much anywhere that they sell beer. Tastes like Miller Time Chicago. Just make sure you celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. Also, again, I also want to talk about Icon Pass. This is your season, your mountains, your turn to ride the joy. Grab your Icon Pass today. Last chance for the lowest prices of the season is April 17th. It's coming up, so make sure you jump on it now. Unlock 60-plus destinations worldwide because the best days aren't just ahead. They're wherever you want to go. Drop in and start your season early with Buy Now, Ride Now. You can ride immediate spring scenes with access to up to 17 mountains. That's 2 seasons on one pass, more powder, more bluebird days, more spring break laps. I love a good deal, and getting 2 seasons on one pass sounds like a fantastic deal to me. You can do that when you go grab an Icon Pass and you purchase it by April 17th, and you lock in the lowest prices of the season doing that, starting at just $259 for adults. Go check out the Icon Pass, folks. It's the best way to make sure you're locked in for skiing. All right, welcome to the Stretch Interview Show. Today we are joined in studio by former Bears kicker, current St. Viator head football coach, Robbie Gould. Robbie, welcome in.
Hey, thanks for having me, boys. I appreciate it. What's happening?
Good to have you.
Yeah, it's great to be here. By the way, this place is incredible.
It's nuts,
yeah,
right?
isn't it?
Yeah. It's just a playground for you guys.
It is. I wish you could have seen our original office, which was in an insurance office. It was a shared space.
Yeah. With a vacuum repair guy. I have a theory that did you watch Breaking Bad?
Yep.
I think he was like the guy that, sends you to Belize in Breaking Bad. And then an accountant who was like 75 years old, and then the insurance people.
Did you ever get him on the show?
I did.
Yeah.
How'd it go?
Our landlord.
Good.
Yeah.
I had the TV repairman on, and I learned a lot.
Or a TV repairman, yeah.
One of my TVs broke, and I was like, what do you think about this? He's like, nope, it's more expensive to fix it than it is to just get a new one. So
There you go.
He's a good guy.
What'd you buy?
I think he recommended a few brands. He told me something. He's like, if you get a Sony, never update the TV. You ruin the TV if you get a Sony and you update the TV. So now I always click no. So it was kind of some fascinating.
I always click update, so I might be in trouble.
See, you might be in trouble.
Yeah, I might be in trouble.
You're going to be needing a new flat screen.
That's good.
All the time.
Learned something new this morning. That's good.
There you go. So how's everything going? How you enjoying? You've been coaching this is your second year, right? Coach?
I love it. I think I played in the NFL for 18 years. I played for 5 head coaches, 6 general managers. Had an opportunity to kind of have my fun in the sun, and now to be able to give back to the sport that gave me a lot. It's for me, I'm really happy. I'm in a really good place. I was really thankful for the opportunity at Rolling Meadows and those kids and what they were able to teach me. But the Catholic League is the best league in high school football in Illinois.
You're going to hurt his feelings saying that.
He doesn't care anymore.
No, I agree. I'm a DVC kid.
Okay.
I went to Wheatonville South.
Yep.
During their heyday.
And they're really good too.
Yeah.
I mean, not quite
gonna,
anymore.
Like, here's the thing. Like, those
they were a blue
conferences-
blood for forever.
Yeah, but I think you'll get back there. I think, like, if you look at, like, the Hershey's, the Prospects, the Warrenville South, the Maine South, those programs have always been really good. The problem is that they're not going to go and play the schedule that a Catholic program's going to play. They just aren't, right? So
we played like Waubonsie Valley and beat them by 80.
You're gonna, you're just not going to get that. So,
well, now it's the western suburb Tri-Cities schools. I'm from St. Charles, so like St. Charles North,
they're
Geneva,
really good.
Batavia.
Batavia is really physical, can run the football really well.
They've had a good program for years and years.
But long time. Listen, those programs like that, they have feeder programs. These kids are
awesome,
eating, breathing, living this from 5 years old in flag the whole way up, and that's they put a lot of time and effort into that, and I think there is something to that. But for me, I think it's unique. Like you're an NFL program or a college program. You have someone that's the strength coach. You have someone that does the business. You know, as the head coach, like you have to be able to navigate a system where you need help, right? Because we have a great strength coach at St. Viator that's literally just dedicated to our sports, which is pretty incredible. He's getting his PhD. You know, so you have some say in that. You have an opportunity to do leadership meetings and really build these kids up as people, to prepare them for life after school. And, you know, listen, like I went through and played college football. You know, I played in the NFL. Like, you know, trying to explain to these kids about time management and grades and how important some of these things are. Football's not going to last forever.
Yeah. How hard is it to actually get through to them? Because, like,
what's your coach voice? Do you have a coach voice yet?
Yeah, I don't try to yell a lot. I will yell. It's like my kids, right? Like I treat them like my kids. Like if you don't listen after 7 or 8 times, all right, like I got to raise my voice a little bit. But I think a lot of it is just setting really good standards and core values and what you believe in, you know? I think this separation of creating a really good culture, like our program is going to go, I'm so excited about our families and the support I've had, not only from the school, but the parents, but we got a whole floor this coming Thursday for our big fundraising event at Topgolf. So we sold out in like 220 people coming out to team build and do something different. I don't want to be like other people. Our team's going to go and tour Wrigley in July as part of our leadership summit, right? Like I don't want it to just be this boring show up, practice, leave. Like that's not what it's about. Like I want just like my kids who are 12 my kids who are 12, 9, and 6, or 11, 9, and 6, sorry. I forget my oldest age. Yeah, but he's playing 12U baseball. It happens. That's but I want them to have a great youth experience too. It's the same thing. You want the kids to come back. You want them to play again. You want them to have a passion for it.
You want them to love it.
Like, and that's like, I love playing football. Like I enjoyed it. I love the grind. I don't know that kids
did it
love
for 18
that,
years,
right?
so you
like,
must have.
Well, that's like a little peek behind the curtain. Like obviously one of your family members works with us, Nick.
Yeah.
And like
he's my marketing guy. He's doing great. That's why I'm here today, guys.
Exactly. And just speaking with him about like how fucking into this shit you are and like how much you like want to build a program and you want to build like a culture and stuff is pretty cool. So like a lot of people would think, oh, like the kickers, they're just dicking off like on the corner, like getting their kicks in and then leaving practice early. Like, no,
but I never thought that about you. You always seemed like you had it like
competitive,
right? That you maybe
and you had a voice in the locker room
outsized
too.
voice, that most kickers don't have.
Yeah, listen, I think a lot of that came from Bill Belichick when I was in New England. Like they were coming off their 3rd Super Bowl win, and now I'm learning about situational football. And guys in my locker room are Tom Brady, Doug Flutie, Adam Vinatieri, Rohan Davey, Corey Dillon, Rodney Harrison, like Vrabel, like guys who just were passionate about the sport of football. And every day you came in, and it was like Kyle Shanahan when he coached. Like I loved his team meetings. I would come in early, even if we didn't have a special teams meeting, and I would sit in our video room and listen to, because they would always tape our meetings offense so they could have the install in case somebody missed it or a personnel guy wasn't there or whatever. I would just sit in our video room and listen to the offense and defensive installs. And just listen to kind of how they were doing it, why they're doing it. A lot of what we're doing has a little, at St. Viator, has a lot to do with Lovey and the way that we treat the kids and how we coach them and talk to them. And the other side of that is how we do our day-to-day is coming from Kyle. How we install, how we go about our week, how we game plan, how we do our player evaluations. A lot of that is from Kyle Shanahan. I have a lot of respect for him. It's funny now because all I wanted to do was win, and it's hard to get 53 guys plus 16 practice squad guys to all understand what that takes to win. Like you see the dynamic. There's money involved. There's ego involved. There's opportunity involved. There's contracts that my deal's up. I need to do something now. Well, yeah, you need to do it every day, all day long, not just in your contract year, right?
Yeah.
And the same thing goes for kids. Every kid wants to play varsity football. That's great. And our job is to develop them and produce them. But like, there's only 11 guys that can play at one time on one play. Yeah. And there's only one football to go around. For sure. Right.
When Doug Bryan went down, the Bears brought you in. Did you come in being like, this is it? Like, I'm going to the NFL. I'm staying in the NFL, and I'm going to be a full-time kicker for however many years you want.
Well, it's funny. Like, I learned a lot in New England under Vinatieri and Brad Seeley, Josh Miller, Belichick, those guys. I really learned how to be a pro and what it took to be a champion. Like the way that they conducted themselves, the things that they did, watching how they worked out, how they ran, the way they did things in practice. Like that's exactly what I ended up modeling my career after. I get to Baltimore, try out there, go on the practice squad. I was told I was going to start as the kickoff specialist on Monday. I come in Tuesday to get the extra work in, and like my bag's not in the loop. I'm like, what the heck is going on, right?
Yeah.
So next thing you know, they end up cutting me, and they're like, hey, like, Stover, we have some guys that are hurt, and Stover's going to kick off this week. Would you consider coming back at the end of the year? I'm like, guys, it's like week 3.
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of time left in between there. I was like, yeah, I would definitely consider it. And then the Bears called my construction job that I was working for a friend back home, and I hung up on Robin Wilkie 3 times, and my agent was like, dude, they're trying to call you to bring you in. And the Bears like, hey, we only need you to kick extra points for 3 weeks. I was like, whatever, just don't let the checks bounce. Let's go make the most of the opportunity. And little did I know I was going to be here for 11 years, left a little unceremoniously for sure. But I do think that helped me set up what the back end of my career with San Francisco, going to a lot of NFC championships, playing a lot of NFL playoff football, and some really unique games we just never were able to. In Chicago, one of the things I do regret is that we never won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. And the construction story is like legendary. Like that's like in the Robbie Gould lore. Were you like, not that it even matters, but were you like out there with the wheelbarrow, or were you like answering phones or something?
Well, I started out because I had, I would do a lot of odds and end jobs for the construction company because it was a really good family friend. And that was like my summer job in between playing sports.
Yeah.
I couldn't really go to a company in the business world being like, hey, I really want a job and I'd love to interview, but I might leave tomorrow. Yeah. And who was going to hire me? So I knew that I had to like go and make money because I didn't want my parents to pay for my bills. So I went back to work in the construction. So I worked in the field doing odd and end jobs, and then they moved me inside to do some pricing and some sales stuff. And then got the phone call, went to Chicago, and never went back to
18
construction.
years later.
That was it.
And I wouldn't say that I was great with a hammer in my hand either, boys. But it was something that it was good to.
It gives you a little
collar,
credibility.
right? Like that's where I come from. Lock Haven, Pennsylvania is a very blue collar,
it is.
middle income area where people value the sense of family and the journey of doing hard work.
Well, I love it. Obviously, like it's such a great story, and because I remember when he came in, and that was so Edinger was the last one, then Brian took over for Edinger, right?
So he came in after the Jets Pittsburgh playoff game.
Yeah,
and then I think he got hurt. From what I heard, is he got hurt doing like sprints at the end of a practice.
Yeah, oh shit!
And like that's how
Can't
he
be
like hurt his
sprinting.
back.
No, that's what he gets for sprinting.
But it's crazy. Like as a kicker, like you never wanted someone to get hurt, but like when you're sitting on the outside, that's the only way that you get in.
Yeah.
Right? Or if somebody does really
it.
bad, there's only 32 spots. Now they're starting to carry guys on the practice squad, but it's not as if like there's 3 kickers like there are 17 receivers.
It's
on
a
the
tough
roster.
job to get.
Yeah.
But it's crazy though, because he had a good chunk of a career here, and then it was like, oh well, now it's because Brian started kind of shaky, if I remember.
He did.
And then I was like, oh, like now we got a kicker problem. And for 11 years with you, like, and then obviously with what happened after your tenure, you do take kickers for granted.
Yeah.
Right?
Totally.
Yeah, I think a lot of that.
Yeah, we missed you.
Yeah. a time or two. But I think now the NFL is going to this very high-paid positional roster with trying to find money. Like, listen, like kickers, punters, and snappers, some guys at the high end of it, like the Harrison Buckers, Justin Tuckers, Jason Myers now, those guys are making $5-6 million a year, right? And they're really solid. But then they'll look at it and be like, well, we got to find money somewhere, right? And they'll be like, okay, well, let's go to the kickers and we're going to go to those guys first.
End of the roster.
Like, no offense, like the money that you're saving for a couple $100,000, unless the guy had a really bad season, you can cut his salary in half, knowing that he might not get that on the market. You're not saving enough to give to someone, whereas you go give a backup quarterback $8 million.
Right. Because that's points on the board,
right?
Or off the board, yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Like now the coach is like, well, where's my guy,
right?
That we had that could make it for $1 million. Like it's not worth it business wise. But that's just kind of this like the scheme you see everyone doing, and then you got to have owners that spend money. The teams that are really winning and winning day in and day out are one that are okay spending cash.
Mm-hmm. It was obviously you went through that, so firsthand. Was it a shock when he got cut?
I could kind of tell it was coming. Usually when new coaches come in, they want their own people. And if you kind of look at what John Fox and Jeff Rogers did, they tried to bring their guys from Denver with them. And that's fine. Like, it's their choice, I think what I was able to accomplish in 11 years, I would have loved to finish my career here. But I also look at it and say, well, I never would have played in as many playoff games, and my career might not have been what it is.
Yeah.
Because I played in a lot of playoff football where Chicago just hasn't.
Yeah.
Right?
No.
So, like,
Yeah.
I was in a lot of NFC championships. I was in another Super Bowl. So, to me, I was able to share that moment with my 3 kids and my wife, which the first one was with my family, right? Like, It's just different maturity levels of where you're at, and, thankful for those opportunities. Like, we were not very good my first year in San Francisco. We lost our first 9 games, all by pretty much 3 points, 7 points, 6 points or less. And I was like, oh my God, I might have just made career suicide, right? Like this might not turn around. But just knowing that, even for high school football, like when you're creating a culture, it doesn't take a month. It doesn't take 2 months. Like you show incremental growth and, start being able to get kids in the building and start developing a program. And next thing you know, it just kind of takes care of itself from there.
That was actually my next question. So how did you land on Viator, or how did they land on you?
Yeah, so it's interesting.
marriage
So when I
happen?
was still trying to play, I went over and helped at Fremd High School for like the last 3 weeks of their season. Really fell in love with high school football, and I never thought in a million years, I was like, yeah, I'll just go over, kind of cool, check it out. Let me see if I can impart some wisdom on kind of what our schedule was in the NFL. And then a good friend of mine, we were coaching flag football. He was a teacher at Rolling Meadows High School. He's like, hey, would you consider taking an interview with Rolling Meadows? I'm like, I don't know. My kids are really young. I kind of want to be around for their sports and coach them, because there is a lot of time committed to this if you want to do it right. I'm not a guy that comes in and says, I'm going to do it just half the time. If I'm going to give you the experience, I'm going to give you everything I got. And then finally I decided to take the interview, and then the next day they offered me the job, and I walked in the interview process with a 90-page booklet. St. Viator, I had a 100-page booklet that I didn't get to really show other than a couple people. And we got done with the playoff game at Rolling Meadows, and St. Viator was like, hey, we got a position open. Would you potentially want to interview for it? And I had to think about it. I really enjoyed the kids at Rolling Meadows. I really enjoyed some of the faculty and the people in the building that, believed in what we were doing. And it's hard because when you get in these positions, like, it's about the kids. And it's hard to leave a place where you're establishing relationships, trying to help them get recruited. But at the end of the day, I thought the opportunity at St. Viator playing the premier program against guys I know I was teammates with. Jason McKee's at Carmel. Tommy Zibikowski's now at St. Pat's. Jordan Lynch is at Mount Carmel, right? There's a lot of guys that when I was going through kind of still connecting with them after they played, or like them coaching now, is like, the pros and cons of certain things for a public school versus private school for not only myself, but just for the lifestyle, to be able to be around my kids and do some things a little differently. I didn't want to do it 50%. And, I gave them a 90-page book for a reason, and I'm able to execute.
What was in that book? Just like what?
It was how we were going to develop the culture. I want a 3 or 5 year plan. It was, here's how we're going to do our installs. Here's what, I would like to do, from leadership meetings to, listen, it's high school football, right? Like, there is a passion you have for it, but you're growing people. It's like growing growing the youth. Like, I coach my son in baseball. He's 6. We give out the GOAT medal. And then all the kids are like, what's the GOAT medal? Greatest of all time? I'm like, no, it's the greatest teammate of all time. I don't care if you hit a baseball. I don't care. I don't want to see you cry when you strike out. I don't want you to be a uncoachable. I want
cheer for your teammates.
Cheer for your team. Start that early.
Yep.
Right? And there's no difference in high school. We give out what's called the Iron Lion Award. And our kids that are in our weight program, each kid has to give it out to another kid and tell them why they're giving it to them that day. Just to create, and you guys know this, you guys create content. Everything that you're putting out today is going to go online somewhere.
Yep.
Kids live on social media. They live on TikTok. They live on an iPad, right? And there's no books anymore. So to being able to get them to communicate is something that's a life lesson you need for interviewing.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't believe in rules. I believe in standards. So we implemented a new standard that when you ask a kid how his day's going, usually, and most high school kids, even my kids at a young age,
fine.
It was good.
Yeah.
I'm like, guys,
One word answer.
I can't do this. Like I can't do this anymore. You got to give me at least 2 sentences.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's a follow-up question.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, my day was great. How was yours? Fine. Now we're having a conversation.
You're talking.
Yeah. So.
Was page 101 have Cole Komet's got to buy us a stadium?
No, I would. We definitely would love to have a backyard project. I think will be unique. Listen, like there's, and this, going to Catholic school, like there's a really unique environment to what
hard, man.
What those programs
razor
are.
Thin margins, right?
But not only that, but there's tailgating. There's bringing your alumni back. These are like small college programs where you can actually get them back on campus and engage with them. They care more. And they care, right? Yeah. Like it's like a college program. And to me, that was a very unique opportunity for taking the job at St. Viator. And then, listen, they have a very high academic standard. We have a 3.3 GPA as a team. I have
impressive.
A lot of. I have 60 kids now.
That's a high average, yeah.
And academics was first. They have a bunch of leadership awards and ideas that they go about. The standard of what they're trying to accomplish really matched what my booklet was all about, and I thought that I could execute our plan on how to develop these kids at St. Viator, and so far it's been really good.
Cole's going to hit me up later and be like, what the fuck, man? I'm just kidding. I knew that would be.
Back before you were talking about the end of your career before we got back into the Viator stuff, there was always the rumor that you were coming back. Was that, how real was that? Was that ever close?
Yeah, listen, like I wouldn't say that any of talk about biggest voices. I don't think that any of my contract negotiations were ever easy.
Okay.
I think there were moments where that was possible.
Okay.
I do think that that was capable of happening. I know that we did have conversations with Chicago to come back at certain moments in free agency. I don't know that it just ever came full circle. Looking at the bigger picture of like where I was at in my career and kind of what was going on. I think a coach that I have a lot of respect for is Matt Nagy. I think he's a guy who I've been able to have a relationship with him, and I could have definitely seen myself playing for him when I was going through some of my free agent conversations. I love the city of Chicago. My wife and kids stayed here for pretty much the entire time I was in San Francisco. And there's just something about playing for a team in Chicago. If you look at like the Cubs, like it's 30 degrees last night and it's a packed house, right?
Yeah.
My kids are staying up till 9:15 just to hear the Go Cubs Go song, right? And listen, I love it. I stayed here, and I don't go to a winter like warm place. I never moved away,
which is rare.
And you could have too.
It was always like, man, he really wants to come back. That's awesome. Like he's one of us, and you're not from here, so it's like you just really
bought it,
embraced it. Yeah.
And I think if that opportunity came up to be a little bit more serious, I definitely would have considered it. There was conversations, just like every other conversation when you're in free agency. You talk to a lot of teams. It just never made full sense for me to come back.
Mm-hmm.
That stinks.
And really, like honestly, like to this day, I really haven't come back. Like it's, like I haven't been in the building since I retired. Right?
Really?
Like I haven't. I've been to a game. I went to the Atlanta game with my kids.
Did you just buy tickets, or did you just ask them? Or?
Brian McCaskey is amazing. Obviously, the McCaskey family I have a lot of respect for. But you look at a Mason Crosby. He came back and he had a retirement day.
Yeah.
And he kind of left for the last couple years of his career.
You are the all-time leading scorer in the history of the franchise, right?
As far as I know.
Yeah. I mean,
that's what the records say.
You'd think. You'd get like, hey,
and
I mean, for Hester Day, you weren't here for Hester Day?
No,
that's insane to me.
I honestly haven't. I have not been back. I went to Mrs. McCaskey's funeral to pay my respects to her and the family, but I have not come back really to be a part of the alumni. Now I get some emails here and there to do some things for the community. just never worked out. But like to come back and be a part of the organization again, and
that pisses me off.
That pisses me
have a
off.
part of
That-
it would be something that I would definitely like to do one day.
Theirs are so bad. I mean, you still see gold jerseys.
Oh yeah,
That's still a
You
jersey
don't
that's
see
floating
kicker
around.
jerseys,
Yeah.
let alone.
But you see,
decade
You three are the only
Yeah.
ones. I appreciate you buying them. You know?
Yeah.
No,
No,
it's-
they're out there.
There- you
humble,
definitely
sure.
see it.
Oh, yeah.
My mom has one and she wears it like every Sunday.
There you
I'm not
go.
kidding.
I love your mom.
Let's
There
go.
you go.
No, but when you're walking around the tailgates, you do see him out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but listen, like when we played here early on with Urlacher, Briggs,
Yeah.
Julius Peppers, Tillman, Kreutz, Manley, like we had a good run there. Was it completely sustainable all the time? Probably not. But you know, we went to the Super Bowl. We had a lot of really good players making the Pro Bowl. We're going to end up having, I think, a decent amount of Hall of Famers from that 5 or 6 year stretch.
Yep.
But a lot of those guys don't come back.
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
sad.
they're not a part of it. And to me, like, I think that's a place that, you know, the Bears will always have a special place in my heart for, you know, listen, I've had my kids here. My kids' first game ever in the NFL was being at a practice at Olivet Nazarene, or going to, you know, Soldier Field and having pictures. Like, those are moments that I like can enjoy, to now seeing them in San Francisco at the time when I'm getting ready to retire or walk away from football, that they're in the locker with me on Thursday nights having pizza and shining helmets and cleaning up the locker room. So I was lucky enough to have kids and play that long to be able to do that.
Yeah.
How bad were the dorms actually at Olivet Nazarene?
I didn't mind them. Like, listen, like,
No AC or nothing, right?
listen, we stayed in a hotel in New England. It was like a Hampton Inn, which was fine. But training camp's not meant to be comfortable.
No.
Right? Like, it's not
I
meant
want
to
the
be
Bear
this
Bryant
plush-
people going to hospital for dehydration
Yeah,
at training
right.
camp. Not what it is today.
No, it's definitely not what it used to be. But I will say this. I think the cool part about being at a place like Olivet is you were there for like 30 days.
Yeah.
And the camaraderie and the team building and being around the dorms together.
Everybody's miserable together.
Well, not only that, but it was just like you got to know your teammates. Like, you sat down, you might have played cards tonight. You might have been hanging out in the hallway, like telling stories, you know.
We actually had someone on the a former, I forget who it was, but they had lived the Olivet Nazarene experience and the Lake Zurich experience. So they saw both, and they're like, "Yeah, Olivet was good for the team building."
Probably kind of long,
yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think it was.
I think it was Kyle Long. Yeah.
Yeah. And listen, it was great. Like, you know, we got Kyle. I was here with Kyle when he was a young player. Super athletic, very physical, and I've known that the Long family because my brother played with Chris, his older brother, at Virginia University, and like those are moments you can share, like talking about your brothers. Like, yeah, you can do that in the locker room, but like you have extended time because you do nothing at training camp other than meetings and practice, and then you hang out a little bit.
Hey, let's pause because I want to talk about X Chair. Now it's time to talk about real comfort, because if you're sitting all day or for hours just making a podcast like I am, you need a chair that's actually built for your body, and right now X Chair is making it easier than ever to upgrade with their anniversary sale. For a limited time, you can save up to $599, and that includes some seriously premium upgrades. We're talking dynamic variable lumbar support that adjusts as you move, SiFloat Infinite Recline for effortless comfort, and even cooling and massage features. Yes, massage. I've tried a lot of office chairs, and nothing comes close to X Chair. So if you're ready to treat your back and yourself to something better, now's the time. But don't wait. These deals won't last forever. Hit up xchair.com to shop the sale and save up to $599 today when you use code STRETCH100 for $100 off orders of $500 or more. Go do it. I want to talk about Body Armor. This episode is brought to you by Body Armor Flash IV. Body Armor Flash IV is packed with electrolytes and provides faster and longer lasting hydration with no artificial flavors, sweeteners, or dyes, with great tasting flavors like strawberry kiwi and tropical punch. Body Armor Flash IV gives your body the rehydration it needs to recover. I feel great with Body Armor. It's one of the best perks we have at this office. Everywhere I go, they have these boxes just hanging around. I got the strawberry kiwi on my desk right now. You just grab water in the morning, you open it, you pour it in. It's that simple. I could not recommend more for you guys to just buy a bottle and just keep it at your work desk, because obviously I think most people are getting their water drinking done at work. There's probably countless access to fountains and whatnot. So grab that and make sure you're ready to rock with Body Armor Flash IV. You can get yours at your local 7-Eleven or on Amazon today. Go do it. So Dylan, I'm gonna set the over under at 62.5.
4.
62.5 over under text messages Robbie Gould received after the double doink.
Oh, 62.5?
Yeah, over under.
Are you taking the over or the under?
I'm asking you. I'm gonna
ask you first. You set the standard where we.
I'll take the over.
I'll take the over.
I'll take the over.
Do you know I was at the game, right?
Oh no,
I was too.
Yeah. So this is so if any point in my career, no matter whether it was early on or later when I went to San Francisco, if we didn't make the playoffs, I always made sure that I went to a playoff game. Like, I bought the ticket, the whole 9 yards. Like, let's
like
go.
as a fan experience.
Yeah, just because,
Yeah.
listen, like, if you're not in it, it is rowdy. It is loud. Like, that is something that if you don't go for long periods of time, which at times we did, I didn't want that to be a piece of, like, oh, wait, I remember that roar. Or, like, because I was already in it. Like,
Yeah.
So,
Are you about to tell me that you were walking around
Hold
the
on.
stadium?
hold on.
I just.
So, hold on.
I'm forecasting.
Hold on.
And I'm
Yeah.
like,
So we get done in San Francisco. We didn't make the playoffs my first year or my second year. And I signed a 2-year contract. So at the end of my second year, I was coming home and my kids were really little. I'm like, honey, I want to go to the playoff game. And she's like, yeah, sure. Why not? So we called, we got suite tickets. We paid for the suite tickets. And we were if the field goal upright's here, we were in the suite at the very corner to the right of the upright. So we watched the whole thing.
The first.
You saw it. Yeah.
So we went down. We had, I think we had lunch at like Rosebud or something because the kids were really little. Got them some pasta. Went over there. Got up to our suite, and we were in the middle of the third quarter. And I turned to my wife and I'm like, "Hey, you know this is coming down to a field goal." She's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "Well, listen, like these games, when you get in a game like this and no one can score in the red zone, someone is going to score a touchdown and someone's going to need a field goal." So sure enough, Philly scores a touchdown. I'm like, honey, it's going to be like a 40. I bet this is going to be like a 48-yard field goal because of the time where we were. So next thing you know, they get a big return. I'm like, oh my God, this is going to be a decent like 40, 35-yard shot potentially if they can get a couple shots down the field. Next thing you know, they get a shot down the field.
Mitch had that, yeah.
My wife looks at me, she goes, Rob, are you kidding me right now? I'm like, honey, I'm telling you, this is going to come down to a field goal. And sure enough, obviously you guys know the history of that. We did not leave the suite for like an hour and 15, 20 minutes. So here I am sitting in the corner of the upright watching this game unfold. And leading up into that week, I had talked to Jake Elliott because he's a Chicago kid. And he's like, hey, what's the feel? What's the wind? Whatever. Like, so like here I am helping the Philadelphia Eagles kicker because I had a good relationship with Doug Peterson. And watching the whole thing unfold, I was like, you know, this is how games are won and lost. And now all of a sudden you see them not paying kickers for the older elite kicker to get younger, and this is kind of what happens. And Cody had a tough year, and he was a really good kicker, had a really good year coming out of Miami. And some of those moments you see just define some guys' careers, and he had a really good field goal percentage leading in and getting opportunities after that. It was just that year wasn't necessarily his year, and there were certain opportunities that those are the moments as a kicker you have to capitalize on.
yeah.
So over.
So over.
So
Yeah.
over.
So
You got over 62.5.
It was way over.
It had to be, dude. But the fact that you, like I said, I think if I was at Soldier Field that day and I somehow walked past you after that, like being a deer in headlights, and I was like, our guy was in the stadium, and that's how this game finished.
Did you walk out with like through the wind tunnel or not?
No,
the wind
like
tunnel,
listen, like we bought suite tickets, so we had a parking pass, and I think it was the Waldron deck or whatever they give. So we literally, when we walked in the wrong way because I'd never had the fan experience there, right? So we walked in the wrong way, ended up getting up to where we were supposed to go. And then we started walking down. Like I remember just clenching my kids, being like, I don't know what's going to happen. Like the fans are not happy.
They're going to bark at somebody.
Yeah, like I don't know
Yeah.
what's going to go on. And you know, it was interesting.
Did anybody recognize you after the game?
It was interesting to see the dynamic.
Yeah,
For sure.
I mean, I think I'd walk.
But even here's the thing, like, and I will say this because I did have a thought process of like, here I am with my kids in the suite. Like that's when social media was just starting to take off. And I said to my wife, I don't know if I should like really like post this picture of my kids. She's like, well, why? You paid for the tickets. You're here as a fan. What does it matter? It's not like she's not like you're not like trying to take someone's job. So I posted my kid doing this terrible towel thing, and the next thing you know, the whole game unfolds. I remember somebody from Barstool having a rant on the north south side.
I was with him like 10 seconds earlier. He stormed off, and I see his face, and then went insanely viral.
And then Goose Island had the kick in the parking lot.
And then Nagy did the 43 challenge with all the kicker invites.
But okay, so to that point though, like they were trying to create competition for sure, but in the age of the NFL, when you don't have enough money to potentially sign players in free agency, you would sign kickers and the long snappers or punters to fill the roster because you have to have a certain number by a certain time. So if you're going to sign a guy, you're not going to sign a wide receiver who might get hurt. You can control a kicker not getting hurt more.
Easier,
Yeah, so yes. Did they want to create competition? Sure, but they were also up against a position where they needed a certain amount of people before or after the draft, and the easiest way to not have them go to IR and cost them money was to have kickers, longers, and snappers.
Yeah, guys that aren't going to get hit, really.
Cap manipulation.
Yeah, okay. That makes it a little more palatable.
How often, as a coach, do opposing coaches or players ask you for a picture post-game or pre-game?
Well, it's been interesting for sure. Our first ever game was in Pekin, Illinois. And we had people travel down to the front row with jerseys and everything. It's great. Like, I think it's just a part about, kind of the lore you have in Chicago. When you
do have a lore.
You do, yeah.
But when you go to like these games, like that's what you're like. You hope that just in passing of one of these kids or spending a time and moment, like after a game, you're trying to clean up the sideline, that maybe it inspires them to play football or do something and fulfill their dream, like whatever it is, right? But for me, like, it's not like it's the NFL where you have security guards following. It's just, it's part of it. And to me, like, I appreciate the fans. I appreciate the people of Chicago. There's not many cities like this to play in. And, when you go on the road, you just got to know it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And I do think that there's something to people wanting to win and win big against you in high school. And as a competitor, like, let's go. Like, let's do it.
For sure. Are you working with your kicker, or is it always like, does your kicker feel a little bit more pressure?
Well, it's funny. Like, we don't really get a chance to practice with them right now because of IHSA rules. So, it's kind of unique. You get right now you get 4 days for an hour and a half of being able to just work out. You can't do any football activities. You can't do any practices until the summer. In the summer, you get 20 contact days, which before we had 24, I think, because I think we used 23 last year. But like, they're like, oh, well, the kids are going to get worn out, which there is some truth to that because these kids all nowadays play multiple sports or club sports. So I do think there is something to that, but like, how do you develop the kid?
Yeah. Like,
how do you develop the kid to be a really good player? Like, they have to practice. Now, do they have to be there for 7 hours? I know it's just not me. I want the kids to be kids. Yeah. Like, they'll go do 7-on-7. I'm not a big believer in 7-on-7. I think it's great to learn concepts, but I don't think it gives everyone a full sense of like playing football. Like, I think it's great to see the concept. I think it's great for spacing for the secondary. But if you really want to like that kid to learn in totality, he's got to learn by plays. Like, we do a lot of situational football where you win and lose games in high school is kids knowing how to tackle inbounds or out of bounds, how to go get turnovers and create turnovers, how to manage a clock. If you win the middle 8 minutes of a football game in high school and you have the lead, and we did this in San Francisco, like we called it circle the wagon. If you can score at the end of the half, come out of the half with the ball and score again, that game is 90% in your favor to win, 75% of the time. Let's go. Like, so like trying to teach these kids like what that looks like. And by the way, having fun. That's what it's supposed to be about. Like, there's a lot of, everyone wants to win, which is great, but like, there's a level of work that has to go into that. Like, if you're going to be good, you can't be there 30% of the time and expect to like, oh, I'm going to beat somebody out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys show up 30% of the time, you don't have a job.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
And it's just trying to teach that mentality of these kids of playing fast, physical, and free.
Is there, like, we always kind of lament about this, like, kids today. Like kids today,
I think
it's
that's
not
all generations.
Yeah, I know, but like we're getting to we're at that age. Like these kids,
fucking kids today.
Yeah. It's like they're soft. They don't, like we remember the 2-a-days and things like that.
But here's the thing, like, to that point, we didn't go through COVID as elementary school kids.
Yeah,
we didn't go through COVID as really adolescence of where they're starting to learn how to communicate and do certain things. So we also didn't go through a time frame where we didn't have a locker, and we had a book bag with books, and if you had a locker, it was for your sports. Like it. So I think there's just so many things that have changed in the world. Everything's done by text messages. Everything's done by a TikTok. You know, kids are literally sitting in there, and that's how they communicate.
No attention spans.
But I do think that the kids that are able to separate themselves and understanding what work ethic is what the difference is of a kid making it and playing at an elite level versus a kid who's just another kid.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing for jobs.
What do you think, like, even outside of like the high school level, like back to the pros, like what do you think is the most cutting edge, like new age innovation that kickers have used that made, because everyone says kickers are getting better, right? Like what's the big difference?
I would argue no.
You don't think they're getting better?
No, I don't.
Okay.
And here's why. I would tell you this. I think a lot of kids are starting to focus on just being a kicker. And I do think that there is some specialization that everyone has to have in some capacities. But I'm a big believer in multiple sports and playing multiple sports because I think they teach you different dynamics and scenarios that you have to overcome. Like, guys, failure is a part of life, right? Like, it just is. Like, if you look at a baseball player in the Hall of Fame, they're hitting 300.
They're failing 70% of the time.
Right? Like, so there's a sport you already know you're walking into that you're going to be a failure. And how do you overcome that, right? Like, kids now... and even my kids, like there's this fear of like I failed and it's not my fault, or it's not acceptable, or you know I didn't get the right opportunity, or you know it's not necessarily looking and saying, hey, I'm accountable because I should have. Like my son, I love my middle son to death. Like I think he's got a potential to be a really good athlete, but he's smart enough to know because he played house league baseball that if he goes and sits there and waits for the perfect pitch, he's probably gonna walk. And if he knows and he sees the pitch, he's 3-2 and it's at his chest, he'll duck down a little bit. It's at his eyes. He's going to walk. I'm like, buddy, I don't care I don't want you to walk.
No, go hit the baseball.
Go hit the baseball. If you get out of first base, that's fine. Like, I'm okay with that, right? But he's like, I think there's just a level there of like, oh my God, if I get out or strike out, like, how's that going to be perceived? And that's a lot of kids, even for academics or
I think there's
social life, right?
It feels like more than ever, kids are afraid to kind of fail.
But I also think that in some of these youth leagues, and I've been lucky, my kids have had really good coaches. I do think that in these youth leagues, we lose sight of the development versus winning. And I think people only focus on the winning versus like, okay, are you hitting the ball better? Are you throwing it better? Did you run a route better? Did you learn a concept? Like, do you know the knowledge of the game? And it's because some youth coaches are in this idea that I have to win the league. Yeah, I want to win, but I don't. Not at the expense of developing the kid.
Right.
On that note, I have a feeling I know what your answer is going to be, but I'm going to ask this question anyway. What's the worst part about coaching for you? And I'm not talking about like on the field necessarily. I'm talking about the whole kit and caboodle.
The worst part of coaching.
Can I tell you what I'm thinking?
Go ahead.
Parents.
You know, the parents aren't bad. I mean, I think if you set, like I believe in transparency, right? Like, here's what we're going to do. Here's how we're going to do it. And here's how I'd like for you to be a part of it. This isn't just my team, right? Like, everyone's involved. Like, the administration's involved. The parents are involved. The student section's involved. Like, there's so much that goes into creating an environment that is team first, right? I think the biggest thing I'd say for me that's hard in coaching is everybody wants the glory of scoring a touchdown or having the ball and having a 100-yard game or being for a 100-yard rusher, or like, and that's awesome. And I understand it, but there's only one football, and there's certain schemes and there's certain dynamics that allow you to game plan certain ways for certain guys that are going. You need to be able to celebrate other people's success. My oldest son, he is the best kid to coach. He celebrates everyone's success. He loves playing the game. He'll go and do everything you ask him to do. And I think that's a trait that I would love to see kids celebrate other success. Like, go pat him on the butt and say, dude, awesome.
Show him Ovechkin. So Ovechkin just broke the goal record. He celebrates every goal, regardless of if he scored it or not, the exact same way. Like, that enthusiasm from his first goal to, if he has assists or he's on the ice, like, he's emotional as if he scored.
Sure.
So like that, to me, like that is, to your point, like that's a great example of a guy who does it, and he also happens to be the greatest goal scorer ever.
Yeah, but I think it's just a matter of like understanding that it's not feasible that if you get the ball 15 times in a row and it's on film, everyone knows it's coming to you at some point. So you need to learn how to run the football, or you need 11 guys tackling the football, and you need the guy blocking for you to get you to your scholarship, right? And we call it a brotherhood, and I think the hardest part is like there's just this innate selfishness to like, I have to get the ball. I need to be doing this, as opposed to being like, hey, like we're going through our evaluations right now. We're going to sit down and talk to the parents and kids and say, hey, this is how you fit in our systems. Mm-hmm. This is the traits we need from each of these positions. Like a lot of coaches probably won't do that, and that's why you get a lot of phone calls.
Mm-hmm. It's hard. I think football might be the most challenging when it comes to that too, because just the sheer number of guys and
it's a huge.
Yeah, like I remember
there's a waiting game, especially if you're young.
For sure.
Yeah. You have to do all the shit.
Yeah.
And then for no on-field reward for maybe a couple of years.
Yeah.
Until you're
like 7th grade was the first year I was a non-striper. And I was like, oh, fuck, I might get the ball this year. They're like, nope, you're still playing center.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Dude, but it's hard. Like, who wants to fucking block sometimes?
Yeah. But I think it's just a matter of how you explain it and how you utilize that and how important it is. Like if you talk to them about the importance of their role. Listen, everyone wants to start. I get it. Michael Jordan wanted to start on his basketball team. He got cut. He's the greatest basketball player of all time. Like, it's not like the journeys are all the same for every kid. Like, who knows when that 9th grader is going to hit puberty? He might be at 10th grade and stop at 11.
Some of us were 17.
Yeah, and some of
17.
you are still
Some
doing
of
it.
us
Who
were
knows?
12.
You know?
Yeah. Exactly.
If I showed you my 7th and 8th grade highlight reel, would you break it down for me?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I got to get on it. I was the kid that grew. I've been the same size.
He had the same beard
in
7th grade.
Hand me the ball, I'm fucking gone.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Outside zone, baby.
Yeah. And
it was 24 sweep.
Too.
24 sweep, just run around the corner, see you later.
Give you a little Philly toss. Let's go.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, Robbie, it's been great to have you in.
Yeah,
we got to get you back. We didn't even get into a ton of Bears, so we could always run
Yeah.
back.
You guys can always come out to practice too.
I'll come
We'd
out.
love to do
fun,
that.
you know?
Yeah.
Right.
Love
Well,
that.
I go to like 4 Pats games a year, so I'm sure I'll be.
Yeah, well, we'll play you the last game of the season. Week
This year?
9. Yeah, we're at St. Pat's this year.
Yeah, I'll be there then.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I'll see you on our sideline.
Yeah.
How has it been?
No, I'll be on your. We'll be on your sideline. He can. Be
Oh, you're gonna go against Zibikowski? That's your guy.
I've never met him.
Zibby's
so.
great.
Yeah.
I love Zibby.
Yeah, but I mean, if Zibby comes in the studio, then I might.
Big
have to,
Notre Dame fan. You said that's your favorite Notre Dame.
He is
guy of all
probably my.
time.
I will say
I
this, Zibby.
detest Notre Dame. He's one of my favorite football players ever, like college football
That
players
punt
I've ever
return
watched.
against SC.
So
He was an animal.
we've gone to a couple Notre Dame games, and I'm becoming an ND fan. I'm not gonna lie. One of my favorite teammates that I had in San Francisco was Mike McGlinchey, an offensive lineman.
Great dude.
And just going to their games, being around campus, like there's something to it. By the way, one of the hardest hitting dudes, and probably one of the most underrated tacklers of the game was Tommy Zibikowski. That dude was so hard. He was so tough, and just loved to kill.
I heard if he shook his hands, it was like shaking hands with a legit grizzly bear. That his hands were just.
He was a boxer. Like the dude was great. Like,
He'll be in here soon.
for sure.
Are you gonna have Cole's brother? I'm blanking on his name.
Cooper.
Is he going to Northwestern? I'm in Northwestern.
No, so Cooper's going to go to Illinois State. We got a couple kids. I got Jalen going to Upper Iowa. We have a few other kids that are going to go to on to play football.
Any North Central kids?
From Rolling Meadows, we have a couple kids going to North Central. I think it's kind of unique. Like we've had a lot of programs come through the building, which is great. It's good to see them come back. The doors being open again, and I think inviting not only the alumni but recruits. We just had a recruit from Roosevelt University come in. He was actually an alumni. It was pretty cool to be able to sit down and talk to an alumni recruiting our kids. So we got a lot of really good players.
They just moved to D1. I want to, or no, D2. That's what it was. That's right.
Johnny O'Brien though at Friend High School.
He's going to Northwestern.
Yeah,
I heard he's legitimately the real deal.
He's unbelievable.
He's unbelievable. Yeah, lefty slinger, just like the real deal.
Yeah. So we got Joey Lampignano, quarterback. Excited for him. He's a good D1 prospect. Peter LaFleur, big guard center. And come out and compete a little bit if
Shout
you
out
want.
to Peter.
Yeah. we got some guys like Brandon Valenzuela in our senior class, David Hosnetto, Vito Confuerto, Star Goo. Like, we got a lot of kids. Anthony Domingo. We got a lot of kids that are going to come out and play well, and really excited about where the program's going to head. And if you guys want to ever come out and do a little podcast, help recruiting, come on, let's go.
Well,
you sit down with some recruits.
Well,
he wouldn't be allowed back on
I'm
campus.
pushing them Zibikowski's way. I got to do it. I wouldn't be allowed back.
Yeah, well, hey, man, you got a podcast for everyone in the area. Your Chicago everything,
We should have a summit.
For sure.
We should host a summit in August where we have you, Zibikowski, whoever else.
And Sarah.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't really make. Although I did hear you guys are starting to pull some guys from Madison Park area-ish.
Don't worry about where we're pulling them from. But here's what I'll tell you. I love my staff. I have a really good staff. Our staff's amazing. We have guys who've coached in college in the NFL. We have guys who've been in the youth programs and coached in high school football. I will tell you, we are running this like a business. We are doing some very hard, deep dive into the youth programs, how we're going to operate, what we're looking for. How we're communicating with those programs. We followed everyone on social media, so we're trying to figure out who's following us back, right? There's a way and a rhyme or reason to it, and there's a definite conversation as to how we're going to go about anything from the youth programs to how we geographically attack.
It's the coolest. That's why I love it so much. It's a chess match, man.
Yeah.
As much as it is like teaching them all that, it really is a chess match.
I have one final question.
Sure.
It's like a lightning round question.
Okay.
What do you think of these new kickoff rules?
I like it. I think it's going to bring back the ability for the returners to change the game and provide more value for them.
Okay. All right.
Good. Robbie, thank you.
Thanks,
dude.
guys.
This was awesome.
Appreciate it.
It was fun.
All right. That's
Awesome.
it, everyone. Thanks for listening. We'll be back on Monday. We'll see you then.